We're talking golf, which it feels like it's been a little while. We're going to be talking about the Fortinet Championship, and we don't have a lot of the big names in there, but we do have some in there, and at different prices. It's going to be a kind of an interesting to try and win these ones. I've actually done pretty well in some of these smaller tournaments in the past. Some maybe not smaller, some of the non-major tournaments. So I'm looking forward to getting back into some golf this weekend. Sheets, any overall thoughts about what we want to do here before we
Yeah, I have a couple of things. First of all, from what I gleaned from Rick Rungood stuff, it's a course where they don't penalize you too much for missing fairways, so you can find guys to hit the ball pretty far. That most of the models are kind of leaning towards those types of players. The other thing is that you mentioned that haven't had golf in a while or whatever. It's an interesting spot because the Tour Championship ended, whatever, and the Ryder Cup is coming. So most of the players that are in the Ryder Cup aren't participating, with the exception of Homa and Justin Thomas. And depending on the different narratives you read or whatever, they're talking about they wanted them to come and practice with them, whatever it was. So how you handle the Homa and Thomas is interesting. Homa's presence is not surprising. I think he's won this tournament like 11 times in a row or something like that. I mean, but this is like his deal. And Thomas this is an interesting choice for him to play in this, but his game has been so lost, it seems, that any opportunity to keep tightening it up, I think, is probably in his best interest. So that's kind of my overall thoughts. And listen, you do see Homa up at the top at 11K, and as we talk about the top range, that's going to be the first decision you kind of have to make. So what we're going to do, for those of you that haven't seen us in a while, we're going to go through each range, like 10K and up, 9K and up. We're going to go through our favorite, GPP plays of the ranges. And then at the end, we're going to just try to kind of wrap it all up with a little contest where we say, who do you think's going to win? Best guy from each range or whatever. We're going to pick somebody to miss the cut that's over 9K. And we'll see what we can do. I am expecting like some pretty low scores here, which means I guess high fantasy point scores or whatever. So I'm sharing my screen. So I guess we'll start with you. I mean, what do you think of the top the 10K and up golfers?
The 10K range is obviously all four players look like reasonable plays. I have it rated Homa 1, Cam Davis 2, JT 3, Jaeger 4th. I'm probably not going to end up using much Jaeger except for as a way to maybe get a little different. It's really not getting that different. But I do like Homa and Cam Davis quite a bit, and I will probably take some shots on JT. Unfortunately, they're all gonna have some ownership, so no giant stances to be had in this top range for me.
Yeah, so here's a couple of things. And again, this is not usually what I think about when it comes to golf. I usually let the data decide what I do or whatever, and motivation and things like that. It's kind of tough to quantify, but trying to think of like these four guys, like if you're over 10K, you need a really, really good performance. I'm not saying you have to win, but it would be nice, right? And I try to think of like what happens if these guys kind of fight a little bit of adversity, whatever. It's like what they would end up doing, and someone like Jaeger and Davis, I just see will just like never give up. You know what I mean? Like they don't have like 1,000 tour wins, whatever it is. And this is a tournament they can win, and they'll keep fighting. Homa, I think that he's going to continue. This is the thing that he's won, several times. So he'll keep fighting. I just feel as though Thomas is just, if things aren't going his way, he's not going to, to turn an MMA analogy. I don't know if he's going to fight for your money. You know what I mean? I really don't. I mean, he's got the Ryder Cup coming up. He's got billions in the bank. You know what I mean? I don't know if he's got the motivation to do it. And listen, I've chased this Justin Thomas thing like all year. You know what I mean? Like regardless of price, it always seems like maybe this is the week for Justin Thomas. So now that I'm probably not going to play him, this is probably going to want to be the one that he wins. So I have Homa rated like clearly above the other guys, and I hate to put it in terms of the context of the slate, but the fact that I like so many like 7Ks, it makes it just so trivially easy to play him. So what that means is that he's going to be just insanely popular even at 11K. Like Like I'm looking at ownership projections anywhere from 30 to like 50%, honestly, depending on where you look. So if you wanted to win the big prize, you'll go with some other construct, instead of like home in the 7Ks. So that's I guess my overall comment is that I do like home in the best. I don't know if I can get to the others. I don't know if I can get so much Thomas, Davis, or Jaeger. If anything, if I was going to fade Homa, it would be getting to these other ranges and the double shotting from there. So that's kind of what I like. I think Homa is a very, very strong play. His metrics are good. His course history is good. It's just all good. It's just going to be high owned. That's all.
Yep, totally makes sense to me. What about what about when we jump down and I guess I'll go real quickly to I do like the Gala for what it's worth better than Davis or Justin Thomas. He's also going to be extremely popular, like the highest. I think he is going to be the highest non-Homa named player on the slate. I also like Eric Cole, who's going to have ownership. So one thing I'm considering is maybe jumping down to Alex Noren because he's the one guy in this range who isn't going to be owned. He's actually been back in better form lately after having a rough little go of it for a while. His last 3 tournaments, it doesn't sound special, but Wyndham's 38th, 13th at the 3M, 23rd at the Open Championship. A couple tournaments before that, he finished 9th at Rocket Mortgage. He's strictly an ownership play. Just the fact that he's going to be low owned, I will take some shots on Alex Noren. But my favorites down in this range are Thigala and Cole. How about you?
Yeah, Thigala, I just feel as though, again, he's another guy that no matter what I do, like he just doesn't do anything for me. He always seems like a good GPP play, and then when I play him, he's like struggling to make the cut. You know what I mean? Like that's just my experience with him. And at high ownership, I'm just probably not going to do it. I mean, he rates so much higher than these other 9K guys, even assuming like value and everything like that. And it's kind of a tough fade on the board, but it's golf. What else can I say?
Yeah, the guy hasn't finished better than 15th in a very long time. I mean, I get it.
Yeah. Now Eric Cole, I think, is a good play, and again, he's going to be high owned. Another guy who's giving double-digit ownership, which rates well, and this is what happens in golf, man. Bo Hostler, I have him looking pretty good. Brendan Todd does not fit the course profile. I just see I would put him in here. He's not the guy that's going to hit it far. He's the guy that benefits from other people, making mistakes. So this is really not the course for him. I like the Noren idea for no other reason than exactly what you said. You know what I mean? Like you got all these guys like, listen, for good reason. Like Cole has been super consistent. Hostler rates well, and Thigala as well. But they're all 15 to 20% owned. With Thigala, like you said, even higher than that. So yeah, you want to take a shot at Noren. It's a construction that's not going to be popular. It's a play within the range that's not going to be popular. So I mean, even like right above him, I see like Putnam at 15% ownership. You know what I mean? So you're getting an ownership discount off of other guys who are really not that much better, with the exception of Thigala. So I kind of like that. I wasn't thinking about him too much, but I'm kind of you kind of sold me on this. So I do like the Alex Noren.
Nice. All right, when we get down into, why don't you start off the 8K range of what you like here? Because this to me, outside of one player, I think is going to be outside of maybe lower than, as low as the 6K range. But I think this is the low range that gets forgotten about outside of literally Justin Suh. So I'm curious to see what you like here.
So I don't have Justin Suh at all. Okay. I have 2 guys that rate really, really well in this range. I thought you were going with something else. For me, one of the top plays on the slate
in terms of who projected ownership.
No. For me, one of the top plays I have on the slate is Doug Gibb at 8K flat. I think, and again, I just learned. I mean, like he's looking. I have him like 11% ownership. I just think he's going to be 20. That's just the way it happens when I have these guys that rate well for me. It means they're going to rate well for everybody, and the ownership is just terrible. It's a terrible projection. That's my opinion. But he does look pretty good. Another guy that, again, I've had my runs with or whatever, but Kevin Streelman at an 8K flat looks like a good play as well. So those 2 guys I like, and nobody else. like from the range. So I'll take another look at the Justin Suh. I mean, because quite honestly, if he's getting owned, he probably should look good. You know what I mean? Like, but I really don't. First of all, I don't even have him that popular. I have him at like 12%, and not rated that well either. So we'll take another look. And when we do the live sweat later, I'm gonna have when I do live sweat later, or whatever. I'm gonna have like really updated and tight ownerships. And one thing about golf is that usually with like you get like 3 or 4 exceptions, and you don't know exactly who they're going to be every week. But with the exception of 3 or 4 exceptions, all the ownership projections are super tight. Okay, when you wait till the end. So make sure you check in for the late ownership thing. Goldie does like a full industry aggregate projection thing, and I have a little bit of a different take with the same baseline. And you know, I would double check on that on those guys. But for me, it's Gim and Streelman and then like nobody.
Yeah, I understand that. I like the Gim call. He was one I had a note on, and he and Suh were the two that I had the most interest in. But I think I actually like Bhatia a little bit as well. So those would be the 3 for me from this range. I may end up trying to force different types of builds though because of this range being so ignored, and getting some more exposure to it, because I think you're going to see you're going to actually have a lot more chalk in the 7K ranges and in the 10K, the 9K plus ranges. So I just feel like it's a way to get different just by trying to include 2 of those players. So maybe even playing like a Gim and Streelman together or something is not a bad idea, just in terms of construction ideas.
You know what? I'm the worst. So I wanted to show you what I literally wrote on this pad, Akshay, because I knew that I was going to forget to talk about him. And I even made a note to remember to talk about him, and then I forgot anyway. So he didn't show up too much in my sheets, but no matter where I look, from Rick, when he went with 5 different forms of analysis, kept coming back to Akshay, and he should. And I have to say that I don't know how it happens. I was explaining this to a friend of mine who doesn't know DFS. There was one tournament where like Ricky Fowler and someone else was like 1, 2, 3. On the board, and they happen to be like a Saturday, and they happen to be like the 3 highest owned like golfers. You know what I mean? And I'm like, he's like, who's this guy? I'm like, believe it or not, like 30% of the DFS community had. Like, how? Like, I don't know how, but like these models are usually pretty freaking good. So if everybody's like, if all the models are coming up with Akshay as a good play, probably a good play. So I'm gonna reiterate that your Akshay reminder that he's probably just going to be in the top 5. You know, I don't know how, but he probably just is. So, so Akshay, I will definitely throw into my short list.
Nice. What about 7,500 to 7,900?
So this is where I get lured into thinking that I'm going to put one over on the field and have a guy that's he rates really high and he's only 10% owned, and then I'll play him, and then the snowman will be 29% or something like that. So the guy I have a couple. So are we including 75 or 76 and higher?
75 and 72.
Okay. So top play I have is Sam Stevens, and I have him showing 11%. Then I have K.H. Lee, and I'm showing him at 9%. Who knows? Then I have Dylan Wu at 76. All these guys are rated really high, by the way. This is why Homa with these guys is going to be like really popular, I think. Dylan Wu, I have him only 12%. I mean, one of these guys I'm just going to be wrong on. They're going to be 20. I don't know who it's going to be. I'll give you 2 others, actually. Davis Thompson, 7,900. I have him about 11, 12%. And the last one I'll give you is Austin Eckroat. And I have him at 8%, but I don't know, just because the way the builds are going to be, it's going to be all home and a bunch of these freaking dudes, I think. So I think all these guys are going to be higher owned than I think.
I think you nailed it in terms of how the construction will be. I actually so the ones I support that I'm most with you on would be Wu, Stevens, and KH Lee.
Okay.
My other guys and I'm okay with the Eckroat thing too. My other guys were Luke List and Taylor Pendrith. I really like Luke List, especially you talk about being able to miss fairways.
Yeah, he missed them really well.
He misses them really well, exactly. So I always pop up a little bit when I hear that. I'm also a little biased towards him because he won me a big GPP a couple years ago when he won that one tournament. Still his only win, I believe. Anyway, but it's I agree with you that this range is going to get piled in. I think But right now, like the projections have everything like spread out to like 6%, 8%, 10%.
Right.
All these guys, it's going to condense on some people, and I think it's going to condense a little bit on Brandon Wu and Sam Stevens. That's my prediction. All right, under 7,500. Cheats, what do you got here? I know you've probably got a few more down here.
No, not much. Listen, I don't have Patrick Rogers. He's not playing, so I can't go to him. It's usually the same guys, but nope. My top. Can I give you more than one? Yeah, I'll give you two. Ooh, I'll give you three. Ooh, you're gonna like one of them. Austin Smotherman, have him. Mm-hmm. And in context, I mean, he's rated like 56th on my list. And then I have, here's a guy I've never recommended before, Zach Blair. He's 6,800.
Okay.
And then
we're doing 7K to 74, 70K to 74.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were under 7K.
No. It's all right.
You know, I can go back. So that's all right.
Okay, yeah, if you don't.
Right. So under so 7,500 or below, I have Kevin Yu as a just super strong play, and he's probably gonna be really popular. So I have him rated really high. Then honestly, it's a pretty decent drop to the next group, which would be Nate Lashley, Seung-Young Kim, I guess.
SH Kim.
Yeah, Sig and Novak. But for me, like Kevin Yu, like is sort of a standout here.
I'm gonna put SH Kim in my list just because I want to play Seung-Young Kim. I want to play the SHs, the Kims and the Lees, and the Woos.
The Woo and the U.
All right, so I what I like in this range is I actually do have some different plays that I'm kind of high on. I'm open to this Will Gordon idea. We'll see. I don't like. I think that there's still talent there, and I'll take a shot at some upside with Will Gordon. I like Caleb Taryn. I think he will actually get a little bit of ownership. Probably he'll have the most ownership in this group. And then the play that I absolutely love, and I don't know if I'm missing something. I'm going to have to look a little further into it, but I love Carson Young at 7K at no ownership.
Oh, all right.
I'm going to play Carson Young every week. It's one of the things I've done well in the last year with the Carson Young plays. And then I also like the Lanto Griffin. So the 2 7K guys are the guys who I have the most interest in. And I wouldn't mind, like, I actually don't think this range is as different from the range above, but they're just going to be significantly lower owned. So again, like the 8K range, the 7K to 7,400 is where I try to jam some guys in who maybe I don't feel great about, including guys like Joel Dahlman and Marty Doe. I'm going to include a lot of these just because it's the only way I can find to get different on this crazy slate. So you mentioned the Smotherman at the under 7K. Who was the other name you mentioned, Sheets?
I was rolling. I had Zach Blair, but I was saving one for you.
Yeah.
And if you don't say them, then I'll say them in the contest. So I'm going to say for the purpose of this part of the show, I will say Smotherman and Zach Blair.
Smotherman and Blair, huh? Okay, so I actually had Smotherman as a note. Look, the only thing is about the Kazire thing, the general. These are the tournaments I like to play him in. I like him when he's still that same 6,900, and it's a much weaker field. I think that it sets up okay for him to be okay. I also am going to do my weird, because you told me that one story about Scott Piercy. Now I'm forever like linked with this guy. I will take a shot or two on Scott Piercy, and I don't have other. Let me see. I'm just looking down what I had noted. I had Norlander as okay, and I'm probably going to try to fit some of these guys in. I have Richie Warinsky as okay. Ben Taylor as okay. I actually think Ben Taylor might be a little better than okay. So I'm going to put Taylor on my to be played list. And am I missing someone that maybe were you referring to the general when you said that?
You know, I totally forgot about the general. I was referring to Piercy.
Okay. So I wasn't totally.
Yeah.
Those are the guys I've got. It would be Kazire, Piercy, and Taylor probably being my favorite. And again, like you really don't need to go down here, which means you probably should just for differentiation. Between the low 7Ks, the 8Ks, and the under 7Ks, that's where you're going to be able to get different on these slates that are going to make it otherwise very difficult. But I'm okay with going ahead and just playing, 30% of Carson Young and seeing what happens, because I really like that kid. And I feel like, I don't know why everyone's off of him this week. There must be something I'm missing. All right.
So let's go through this, and we'll just we'll go through our different tiers again. We'll come up with these, and so I try to figure out, like, for the purpose of this, whether we're supposed to do the best play or the best, GPP play. I guess we'll just like do whatever you want. But just with the question of who's going to win the tournament, I mean, I'll snipe it, man. I'll say Max Homa.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Since you said it, I'm going to go ahead and say Cam Davis, just because I think that. And by the way, there's going to be Davis and Homa lineups together for what it's worth. But I'll say Cam Davis, even though my first pick would have been Homa.
Okay, so under 10K to come in the top 5.
I actually am going to go with Thigala because I believe he's a significantly better than. And again, unfortunately, we're giving you chalk so far. I'll get a little different in my next picks, but. That's what I'll step up here with this one, and just to unpunish myself for not forgetting him, I'm gonna dip down into the 8K range and go with Akshay to go top 5. Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, I was gonna play him anyway, and this will probably make me play him a little more. All right, so under 9K to top 10. I feel like I'm stealing him from you, but really I think that it's just because you mentioned him first, because he was one of my guys too. But I will say Brandon Wu.
Okay.
I'm sorry, not Brandon Wu. Excuse me. Doug Gim. I don't know why I did that.
Yeah. So I like that. I like the Doug Gim. I don't have the confidence in the sub 8Ks to move a guy up there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the next guy that I was going to come up with in the 8Ks. Oh no, I could do another guy. I could go. I'll go Streelman actually.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
All right, under 8K to make the top 20.
Under 8K to make the top 20. I'm looking through my each range. Where did I have? I kind of just want to say both of them. No, it's only Dylan Wu who's playing this week. I guess I'll say Dylan Wu.
And I will say Yu. So we'll go Wu and Yu.
Which is you.
But by the way, I mean, we didn't talk about him. When you talk about a course fit, I mean, like, for example, Cameron Champ's only 7,700. I would just.
You know what? I'm going to put. I'll just have to make a little note of that.
I mean, I'm going to put him in a little bit. You know what I mean? Just.
Yeah, just to make sure I get it.
Under 7K to make the cut.
Under 7K to make the cut. Ugh. Even the guys I mentioned, I don't feel good about making the cut. I got one. I'll start. I got one. I'm going to go with Kevin Tway at 6,700. Oh, that's a really good play. Actually, I actually kind of like that play. I don't know why I didn't have that one.
There's a lot of guys that are 4 letters or less, by the way. I just thought about you.
I guess I'm going to go with it. I like all the other guys for upside, but I guess I'm going to go with the one I feel a little bit better about making the cut. And I will say Carl Yuan. You know what? No, you know what? F it. I'm going to stick to my guns and do the silly thing. And I'll just say I'm not going to have like a crazy amount of Kazire, but I am going to play a little bit of him just to force it in. And I would like to, if I could, I do like the Wu play, but I think that instead of playing him, I want to go back and say that I think Carson Young is my actual play from the 7K range to top 20.
All right, so who over 9K is going to miss the cut?
So over 9K to miss the cut, I have as I'll go with I guess I'll go with Bo Hostler. I guess you have a really easy option if you want to take it. I know maybe not easy, but an option that everyone else would play in this game, I think.
Who, Thomas?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to first of all, he's not 9K, but it would be Webb Simpson, but he's not 9K.
You're changing your rules.
No, I know that's what I'm saying. I was commenting that I don't like him as a play this week. Bad course fit, bad price, bad everything. All right. You know what? I'm going to go with Thigala. Thank you. All right.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so there you go.
Oh,
So Thigala to miss the cut.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're around, if you guys I say are around, you could do I'm probably doing a live lineup build at 11. And by the way, if I do the live stream, if I remember, I'll save it, and then you could if you want to get up really early and see my live build, and I actually do it at 11 o'clock. You'll have plenty of time before we lock, because lock is not till I think it's a little, what is it, like 10 in the morning or something, Eastern or something. It's not bad. It's not like a 6
a.m. Yeah, it is. It's always at 9:55 a.m. Yeah.
Okay, so that's not bad. But yeah, I'm kind of psyched for a full. We haven't had like a full field golf slate in like a while, because remember we had the 50 down to 30 down to 70 for a while, and the no cut and all that stuff. This is and I don't know if they're gonna have one next week, because I don't know if they the Ryder Cup's the week after, I suppose. Maybe they will. But yeah, I'm kind of psyched for this one, actually.
Yeah, it's nice to have it. Nice to have it.
It's like we have nothing else to sweat on Sunday.
Yeah, well, you know what though? That's kind of like fun to have you have the double sweat going. You see, you're used to that. I haven't lived enough of this life. I want to have that double sweat life. I only got it during the pandemic and the baseball and basketball at the same time. Yeah. Which was also stressful because we were doing content for BetQL and trying to figure out how to judge the slates, and they were all like weird time games and everything. Remember that?
Yep. Yeah.
That was wild. Anyway, all right. Well, good luck, everybody. We will be back. We're going to be doing a football show very shortly. If you want to hang around and mess around with us in the chat, I'll take a look for you guys. But good luck, and I hope this is a great week. We'll be in the premium Discord with my content a little bit later.